can I slip one in? Because I see a thread going through here, and I want to make sure you have time to address this one.
Okay. Oh, all these great questions. Oh my gosh.
I know, we have some.
We should do this again. I love answering
I know,
your
let's do it
questions.
again, because I still have a huge stack here too of people that people sent in from before. But I want to make sure we address this, because I see a strong thread going through where some of the ladies are saying that they're feeling like that the women have to do like the harder work or the heavy lifting in a relationship. And that was actually one of the questions that was sent in as well. And I mean, from my perspective, you know, I've had the privilege of interviewing you many times and have read your book. And I feel like what you're giving us are kind of the keys to the kingdom, because you're giving us tools and resources that we can use to get more of our needs met and to have more deeply satisfying relationships. But I'm seeing this thread going through here that is where some of the ladies are feeling like, wait, it's all on us. We have to be the ones that change, adapt, have our perfect behavior, and so and so and so on. And we have to do the heavy lifting.
I love what you're saying. I've encountered this for years. Why do I have to do the heavy lifting? Because you're the woman asking me what you can do to make your relationship better. When I talk to men, they have to do all the heavy lifting. It's what side do you want to look at this? If you want to be the agent of change in your life, this is how you do it. If he wants to be the agent of change, this is what he does. He doesn't have to be in front of me. Any man that asks me what the problem is, I'll tell him, boy, are you messing up? You're not doing the right thing. If you want to hear how men have to do the heavy lifting, you read the advice I give to men. It's what do you want in your life? You have the power. All I'm doing is telling you how you can get what you want. And if you heard that what we men have to do, just as a short thing, men, you have to practice listening to her. You have to practice making her needs first. You have to practice not reacting and arguing with her. You have to practice, if you're angry, you can't talk to her about it. You cannot complain about anything. You have to suck it up. You have to become selfless. If there's a war, you have to give up your life. You're the one who has to do dirty, dangerous, and difficult. If there's an argument with a neighbor in lawsuit, you have to handle it. If there's a leak in the roof in a rainstorm, you have to climb on the roof and do it. And you can't complain about it. If there's dirty, smelly trash, you have to bring it out. If there's danger, you protect her. You have to give her 4 hugs a day. You have to empathize with her. These are things that nobody ever taught you to do. You have to do it. Men always say, you mean I have to do all that? I say, that stuff is easy once you know how to do it. Are you kidding? Why would you complain about it? And what I'm saying to women, when you don't understand how you're creating the problems and making the messes in your life, it feels like a real burden and a heavy lift in order to change. And I get that. I get that because everything your mother taught you about how to have a relationship doesn't work today. Okay? Because you want to be different. You want to have a sex life. You want to be more independent. You want to be free to say who you want. You want to have conversations. You want to talk about how you feel and what you want. Women never did that in the past. I'm teaching you how you can do it. You have to change yourself if you want a different result. So yes, we're back to, it's almost like, you mean I have to work at this job to make money? Yes, you have to work. They're not going to give me a free ride. I thought the government's going to give me money for free. No, you have to work for that. That's what life's about. But work is wonderful if you know how to do it. That's the problem. And this all seems like, it's so much. It's only so much because you didn't know it before. And it's a pleasure to put it into action. See, that's the great thing. I mean, when I look at how to ask for more, okay, I have a 10-step process for asking for more. 10 steps before I ask my partner to do anything for me differently. Why would I need 10 steps? Because it's loving and it feels good to love. Like I would never just say you did something wrong. I first compliment first. I wouldn't say we need to talk about that. I says, when you have time, when you're not watching TV, I want to talk about something. It doesn't take a long time, only a few minutes. The other day you did this and this and this. And, you don't do that all the time. And I really appreciate because you did this way one time and this way one time. But it did push buttons inside of me. It triggered something inside of me. And I felt like, what a crummy husband I've got, or what a great crummy wife I have, these are like stuff that was coming up, and it's really not even about you. It's about my own childhood stuff. It's like repressed stuff coming up, and I'm being overreactive. And I'm really sorry about that I even had those thoughts and feelings, because you're an amazing guy. And at the same time, if you try to remember to turn out the light, I'd really, really appreciate it. It just makes my life so much easier. But in the bigger picture, no big deal. Wow, why did I have to do all of that? Because it felt good to do. But if you don't know how to do it, you think, oh, I have to coddle my partner, I have to be so delicate. Why can't I just tell him change? You know, we have to get out of it. But people get angry when they're basically being told you're doing it all wrong. But if you're not getting the results in your life, you're doing it wrong. And certainly they're doing it wrong too. But what use is it for me to talk about how bad men are? That's all you hear is, he doesn't do this. He does. What good is that? Doesn't do anything good unless, in one case it does, unless you have really low self-esteem as a woman and you're one of these women, and they do exist, who stay with men who are very, very abusive. Because one of the things you have to do if a man is very abusive is you have to lovingly stop letting him abuse you, which means leave from the point of view, you've got a problem. If you fix the problem, the truth is I do love you if you do. And I would love to have a relationship with you, but I'm just enabling you if I stay with you. So I have to go take time to find my happiness, not depending on you. And I recognize my part of this. I am actually bringing out the worst of you by even having sex with you, because I don't want to have sex with you. And that's not, your problem. That's my problem. I built up so much resentment inside and so much hurt inside. And it's not even all about you. It's about my childhood. It's about repeating patterns and my own feelings of helplessness. So, it's not you. And you have your problems for sure, but I know that if I was to stay with you, I continue to bring out the worst of you, and you're responsible for your problems as well, but I don't want to add to them. So we need to part. Do you see how that, like, both people are responsible for the problem, but this takes away victims. What I know to be true is when I'm in love state, I've never been a victim. I had things happen that helped me learn and lessons, and I'm growing because of it. My life is wonderful because of the lessons I've learned, and it's not perfect. It just gets better and better. That's a love state. It's not a victim state. And what I know to be the case in psychology is any pattern you have in your life where you feel victimized, it happens again and again and again. That pattern will not change until you get that you're creating it. And how are you creating? You have to find out. It could be you keep picking the wrong people. That's also a victim pattern. And because you're not willing, you have to look inside yourself that you're not open to the right people. Your expectations are too high. You're too picky. What could it be? Or, I've talked a lot with you about this, about women. Often women are attracted to men who are not available. Why would you involve yourself with that? But if you're attracted to men who are not available, if you're attracted to men who are dangerous, if you're attracted to men who are married, then that's a problem inside of you, that you would be attracted to someone who's not going to be able to give you the love you need. Your intuition is saying, I can't get what I need there, so I want it. Okay, that's your own problem inside, that you picked these wrong guys. So what you have to do is recognize that if you're turned on to the wrong guys, then the right guys will not cause you to be turned on. So that's another thing. We practice having relationships with men that are more interested in you than you're interested in them, and let them earn your interest by taking care of you and allowing you to use them. And when you can feel, wow, I can get this guy to do whatever I want, I'm falling in love with him because he truly wants to be there for me. Instead of some guy that you have to convince. That's just bad news. That's low self-esteem. That's your issues. That's what you've got to work on in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is pure gold, and it's really empowering to recognize the choice that we have in staying in victimhood, right? I mean, that alone could transform so many things in our lives when we recognize.
It does, and it sounds sometimes harsh when I say it. I just want to soften it by, if a woman came to me and said, John, it just feels like I have to do everything. And I said, well, yeah, if you want to make a change, you have to make a change in yourself. At the same time, I hear you, and it's hard. It's difficult being alone. It's difficult not getting support in your life. It's difficult not understanding. These are hard things. And we could talk about that. You need to be heard. So all these women that are feeling that burden, you need to talk about somebody. That's the part of you which is a victim. Victims need to be heard. Okay. They need empathy. That's the female side of us. The female side of us goes into, I did not get. The male side of us goes into, I don't know how to do. So they just need strategies, but women need to be heard. So there needs to be a softness to counterbalance. This is how you can get, but also the pain is inside, and that's where emotional intelligence, healing the heart, is very, very important. You need to have friends that you can talk to and share your feelings. But in the context of this is the part of me that feels like a victim, and up here in your logical brain, your intuitive brain, and I'm not a victim, but I'm nurturing myself. Because, you know, if you have a little child and they're crying, you want to listen to that child, and then they smile and run off and play. It's done. So
Right.
we have this like child inside. It feels like I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it, and afraid I can't do it. And so then you go into a feeling like, oh, this is too hard for me, as opposed to when you learn how to do it, I won't say it's easy, but when you learn how to do it, it is easy. And that's called wisdom. When you have wisdom, it's not a big deal. Life is, one of my friends, he wrote that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff. It is all small stuff. And you can argue with me and everything, but when it comes to how you feel, it's small stuff. You are in control of that. Now, the outer world is bad news, but how you react to it, that's what you're in control of. And that feeling of a burden is just simply, this makes me feel wrong, and I don't want to look at that, and I don't know how to do it else, and I can't do it another way, and he should make it easier for me. And I'll agree. I'll tell all men to the end of my life, men, you need to make it easier for women. This is what we can do for them. And unfortunately, men used to do that by having a good job. Now we don't know what to do. You've actually made it really hard for us, not that I want to paint men as victims, by being so independent. And now when you're independent, you have a whole new list of needs: romance, affection, understanding, compliments, empathy, compassion, planning dates, helping out around the house, vacuuming, cleaning dishes. I mean, doing laundry, all these things that women are wanting us to do today. I never had to do that. I used to just go to my job. Now I got to go to my job and all that. Why? Because you chose, as women, you want to go out and be independent. So you need more from us. And I'm teaching men you can give women more. You just have to know the strategies to do it so you don't feel burdened. Because men feel that burden too. Everybody's feeling burdened today only because they don't know how to do it. Once you know how to do something, like, the computer, try changing softwares. Go from Apple to the other one, and the other one. It's just kind of like, I have to relearn all of that. It's a burden, it's tough. You got to read the manuals. You got to learn the whole stuff. But once you get a handle on it, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this wisdom, you've given us so much wisdom. And I think wisdom about relationships and having love and healing our hearts. I think some of the things you're talking about, not just today, but also in your Facebook Lives and in some of your other work, which people can access on your website, marsvenus.com. I think it is so valuable for you to be offering so many tools and so many resources for us to obtain so much wisdom